Okay, what is up, people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always, guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, drop a like as well, and make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Make sure you go check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. Link to that in the description below. Also, you can find it at the top of the chat. Completely free to join. You can chat with other traders, including myself, join the growing community. And of course, you can find out a bit more about Elevating Traders, the firm, as well, and find your discount codes there as well. But guys, welcome back to another first stream of 2025. I wish everyone a happy new year and a good year on the charts and off as well. Just as important, of course. What is up, CS Integrated? Good morning, good morning. Happy New Year to you as well. Hope you are doing well. Markets have opened up. We did take a break yesterday. Markets were closed, but now we're open. So it's back to it. It is really back to it. And I'm excited because it looks like we could be seeing some momentum on the dollar. Maybe not now, but momentum on the dollar in terms of 2025. Could be seeing some big breakouts. So could be seeing a lot of dollar strength, which could mean Euro USD, Pound USD, Aussie dollar, all those guys could be heading down. Dollar CAD could be pushing up. And it could be a very interesting year. And hopefully we do see some momentum because we have been trapped in a range for a while. If I scoot to the weekly chart in Euro, this is effectively range-bound price action for the past couple of years now, more or less. And hopefully we can see a breakout of that. We're seeing signs of a breakout of that. Hopefully this can be the breakout. Doesn't turn into be a big fake out. Of course, that will be a bit anticlimactic. But if this is the breakout, there's only one place I'm expecting Euro to end up. It's back at the lows here, 0.96, 0.97. So could be seeing a pretty big drop for Euro. Of course, expecting USD to the opposite. We'll get to that in a second. But if we do have a trend similar to what we saw in 2022, we could be in for a really nice treat in terms of really a lot of bearish momentum, clear opportunities, nice swing trades, and overall just better conditions than what we had here. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for and sort of expecting for this year and onwards, really. Unless, of course, we turn out to be a big fake out and price comes back inside the range, then that's a different story, even though that could still be a nice opportunity as well, because now that we've faked the low, taking out these lows here, there could actually be some really nice momentum going back up into the top of the range. Maybe not the cleanest price action compared to maybe a nice trend following a breakout, but still could be some nice moves as well. So either which way, there's probably a big move to be had, but for now, I am expecting more downside for Euro. And if we start with the dollar, as always, I'll go for the DXY and we'll take a look at some USD majors. And of course, let us know if you have any charts you want me to take a look at in particular. But the key thing I want to note is a very strong monthly and a very strong quarterly candle close for the dollar to the upside. You can see this is the quarterly chart, so every 3 months. Really strong close last month, and if momentum does sustain from that previous close, as in this close here, there's a good chance we could continue back to the highs here, which is, excuse me, back to 112, 113, 114, those type of prices, and maybe even higher as well, maybe some new highs there too. But it looks like this range here, which we've had for, again, the past year and a half, couple of years, has been taken out with that strong close there to the upside last quarter. So off the back of that, momentum could sustain and we could be seeing a push back to the highs here. So really, this is what I'm looking at, pullbacks and then more upside. And that is the story of 2025 of what I'm anticipating. Of course, we'll see by the end of 2025 if that's what happened. Maybe we came back inside the range. Like I said, if that's a big fake out, there could be some nice shorts back to the low end of the range as well. So that still could be a nice opportunity with some nice momentum, but not as good as a trend, of course. We would want to see a trend, or at least I do anyway. But yeah, dropping back to the lower charts, it looks like we are getting that breakout. So as I mentioned for the past couple of weeks, because again, it's been Christmas, New Year's, haven't really seen much momentum. Ever since we got that strong push to the upside, taking out these highs here, pretty much had the same analysis. And of course, over Christmas, New Year's, all we've been doing is really just moving sideways. So no real big update in terms of dollar and what I'm expecting on the lower time frames. I did say I was looking for a pullback to this area for a retest and continuation. However, not looking likely. Price has been way too bullish or way too sideways, I should say. Haven't really seen the pullback I have been after. This would have been nice for some buys and some pullbacks on pound, pullbacks in euro, pullbacks in Aussie, New Zealand dollar especially, and definitely dollar CAD too. But we really haven't had that. Price has been moving sideways and looks like price is trying to break the highs now anyway. So what we are getting at is strength in the USD, and judging price action in the higher time frames, it could mean a lot more of it. So if we don't have the bigger pullback into this zone, which is still my number one area of interest for USD, some nice fib confluence as well. If I whip out the fib from the low to the high, you can see we've got the 50 running straight through. So it's a nice area of confluence, healthy pullback. If we don't get that, then the next setup would be a strong break of the high. So a strong break of this high here, and then looking for some pullbacks and the retest of that, because I'm expecting trending market conditions. So I wouldn't be so afraid to be looking for break and retest of the highs, because I'm expecting momentum to continue. If momentum doesn't continue, you start to flatten out and come back down. And like I said, maybe you are going to get that big fake out. But if this is the breakout and price is going to continue, I expect momentum. I expect strength in these bullish moves like we had here. Of course, I know that was caused by interest rates for USD, but if this trend is going to continue, you need to see momentum regardless. So I do expect to see strong breaks of the high, and if we get that, I think retest of the high there, just looking for the next high low in the next pullback really is the plan. So as long as we keep this up, this could be a nice area to look at, and probably the more realistic opportunity, because I don't see price having that pullback there. Maybe it does happen, so keep an eye out for that. But this is probably your next best bet for USD. For some more upside and targets, again, long-term target 112, 113, so up at those prices. But there's not really a lot to aim at, to be honest, because looking to the left, we've got some really big drops here on the left. So I'd probably look at this area here, brief pause in the market, strong move to the downside. So 110.5, I would guess, could be a nice target that's still very far away as well. So it's difficult to work out targets. So I would suggest either trading stops just to see how price goes, or let's say if we were to break and create a new high, then that would be the target. So if we create a new high there, for example, that would be the target, so on and so forth. But in terms of analysis, expecting more upside for USD. Of course, with euro, expecting the exact opposite. And of course, we did touch on that briefly. But again, if we are going to clear, it's the weekly chart, if we are going to clear this level out the way, then this is really where I expect euro to end up next. So there could be a lot more downside. But at the same time, I do want to see a bit more momentum on the lower charts. We are still a little bit sideways, still a little bit corrective, as we can see. I wouldn't be completely surprised if price does have a pretty big move to the upside here. If we can break through the floor here with some nice momentum like we did not long ago with the interest rates, doesn't have to be as aggressive as that move, but I want to see some commitment to the downside, then that would really open up my eyes to some more shorts, similar to the DXY, retest of the prior low. Could be looking at something like this in the next few days, and some more downside, keeping up the lower highs, one over there, second over there, third. We talked about this setup last week, the retest of that area. Nice double top. Now let's see if we can get some follow through that low, and then catch the next pullback after that, and so on and so forth. As long as we maintain that bearish structure of those lower highs, I do still see price falling. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for euro. In terms of pound, that's a similar situation. We still need to break through support. I think we're trying to. Yes, we're coming back. We had a pretty strong close this morning with pound USD back into the lows here. It looks like price is just about closing below, but again, not very convincing. Want to see more momentum through that to tell me that price is well and truly breaking through that support level. And then, similar to euro, pullbacks, lower highs look good. We've got a consistent bearish structure at play here. Conclude that as a lower high. Those two equal highs there as well. And overall, we are putting low highs in. So as long as we maintain that, break through the floor, looking for the next low high as well. And as I've spoken about recently, that is not what I meant to do. As I've spoken about recently, there's a nice daily swing low, which I would expect to be the next target for pound, which would be this swing low here. That's what I'm looking for pound USD to end up at next. Of course, once we break through the floor we're trading at now, that would be the next key level I would expect price to get to. We well could break through that. If euro is going to push all the way down to 0.96, pound's probably going to have a pretty big move as well. But we take it step by step, and there's a big level here, so I would keep an eye out for that. So yeah, pound USD more downside. In terms of shorts, again, they want to be shorting right now. But if we can break through, pullbacks naturally on the lower charts look good, more lower highs and more downside. In terms of dollar CAD, I'm still very much keeping a close eye on this one, still very bullish. All we're getting right now is pretty much consolidation, equal highs, equal lows. We did talk about some lower time frame buys last week, as the market was quite dead, at least in dollar CAD anyway, due to the holidays. So I did talk about some buys off the lows here. Has played out pretty well. But of course, me looking at my bigger swing trades, I've been looking at bigger pullbacks, and this area here is really where I wanted to see the pullback to. Nice pullback into the 0.618 of the fib, but unfortunately, price has been too bullish. I mean, never say never. We still could potentially get that bigger pullback, and if it happens, I'm very much ready and waiting to take some trades, but I wouldn't be too surprised if dollar CAD just kind of breaks the upside here. Spent some few days consolidating, maybe price just getting ready for the next wave. So if it does break to the downside, I'm ready and waiting to take some buys. This is really my area of confluence. Strong retest of the prior high, come back to the 0.618. We also got some trendline confluence running through the market there as well. So more than happy to find some buys in that area. But again, we probably will break to the upside. There's probably a great chance of us breaking to the upside than having that pullback, I would suggest. So again, if you're looking at dollar CAD, similar to the DXY, similar to euro, similar to pound as well, looking for the breaks of the current levels of resistance or support we're trading at, then there could be some really nice buys above that to follow the trend. In dollar CAD's situation, I do still see more upside for this one, despite already having such a big move breaking through the highs here. I do think price is likely to end up back at the highs up here, which is around 1.465, I believe, 467, 468, around there. That's what I'm expecting dollar CAD to end up. Not quite there yet. So more upside, I would imagine, is still on the cards. And of course, a break and retest of the high is a nice opportunity to get involved, find entries, and take that higher. In terms of Aussie dollar, of course, expecting the opposite of this one. Now the USD pair is still falling, a little bit corrected now. You can see prices having some trouble pushing down. So again, I do think a pullback is a bit more likely for Aussie dollar and New Zealand dollar, because these guys have been falling so aggressively. It's not necessarily because USD has been so strong, although it has. I think it's more down to Aussie and New Zealand just being very, very weak, to be honest. So I think maybe Aussie and New Zealand dollar could have a bit of a breather, which might give us a bit of a pullback, which is a good opportunity to find some more shorts, because for both of them, I would expect more downside. I've talked about the low here, which I expect price to go take out, which we're not too far away. Yeah, I think we missed it by maybe 10 pips or something like that. So very, very close. But if price was to bounce and push the upside, again, expecting a lower high to form and then the follow through to the downside. We have a lovely level over here, even a brief stop in the market over here as well, which could look good. The goal is to try and find that next lower high in this bearish sequence. As we can see, we are littered with them, so many lower highs. So it would be great to try and catch the next one, of course, retest the high, retest the consolidation there, or retest the low. Either which way, looking for the next lower high and then push. Maybe prices keep falling, to be honest. We could very much do that too. But again, in terms of a good opportunity, at least a swing trade, you do want to see a bigger pullback. Maybe from the lower charts, you'll be looking for your lower high in this region, which makes sense as well. I would be looking at a bigger pullback since we're coming to major support. Market's still pretty stretched. So I would hope for a bigger pullback. Whether it happens or not is completely up to Aussie dollar, and same situation with New Zealand dollar as well. Still a little bit corrective too. We'd like to see a bigger pullback with this one. Similar areas I'm looking to sell from. Nice brief consolidation there would be great to retest. Even the low here would be nice for a retest as well. And again, if I scoot to the daily chart, I'm looking for a lot more downside. I do expect us to go and take out the wick low here. This one's got a bit more distance, so hopefully we do see the pullback happen, and it could present some really nice swings as well. So yeah, it would be great to see the pullbacks, but again, I wouldn't be surprised if we kind of just slowly roll over, especially if USD does give us that breakout pretty soon as well. It probably will. But yeah, pullbacks look good. We've spoken about this for the past couple of weeks now. Pullbacks to those areas, haven't really seen that because again, lack of volume. But hopefully now, maybe we start to see that pick up again. Maybe we do get that pullback before the drop. So do keep eyes on that. Then of course you got your gold and silver. Gold's actually been a bit bullish, actually, surprisingly. I was expecting gold to keep falling. We did have a nice reaction from that zone last week, and we did see a nice move, or quite correct to move. But we did see a bit of downside, but not quite enough to go and test this low, which is said I was expecting price to get to. And I said if price breaks through that, I'm expecting price to get there. Then I'll start to look for some possible buys to look to see if I can take gold to the upside from that area. But doesn't look like we're getting there. We're back at that same area to sell from again. I wouldn't be so keen on selling it anymore, to be honest, because normally when I'm looking to sell from zones, I'm normally looking to get in the first or second test. Very rarely do I get into the third or fourth, because normally, well, anyway, in my experience anyway, the better trades are normally the first or second test of an area of support and resistance or supply and demand. If it's coming back there a third and fourth time, the probability of that zone holding and sending price away does diminish. Not guaranteed, of course, sometimes it happens. But on average, you're better off waiting for the first or second test. Third, yes, we very much could still bounce, but I wouldn't bank on it. So yeah, with gold, not as keen with the sells anymore. Maybe price is looking to hold this level of support again, and we start pushing to the upside and creating some higher highs and higher lows. That could be the situation. I need more information, more candlesticks before I do put a bias on. I mean, I still do like the buys down here, but not looking as likely anymore that we'll get there. So I'm going to have to be patient a bit with gold. Still very much longer term bullish bias, still looking for a push back to the highs here. Have to stay patient to find the setup that does fit my criteria, but nothing quite there yet. Then in terms of silver actually missed the trade, to be honest. I actually missed the entry, which was this candle here, which closed at 2 a.m. Unfortunately, I'm snoring at that time. But yeah, it was a nice entry, actually. I was talking about this setup last week, looking for the double bottom here. I said if I see a nice shift in momentum equal to the one we got here, I will be looking for an entry. We did get that after this candle. You see the market gapped a little bit, closed there, a lot of momentum. That would have been my entry signal, but it did happen whilst I was snoring. So unfortunately, I've missed that. Yeah, there's not much I could do there. Can't be at the charts 24/7. But I'm looking upside for silver. I like silver a lot more because it's still kind of giving us that corrective behavior. So, of course, you got your swing low down here. You got your swing high up there. I'm looking at this as a larger correction before a big move to the upside. As long as we stay above the swing low, of course, I'm looking at this as just a healthy pullback. As we can see, not quite to the 0.786, but past the 0.618. So it's a healthy pullback, still very corrective. I still think we can see more upside. So yeah, it would be nice to catch that silver trade, but unfortunately, yeah, fast asleep during those times. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with USD. I'm very excited for USD this year, to be honest, very excited. If you're going to see that bullish run, it could be big. And yeah, hopefully you can take advantage of some positions. Anyway, what's up, guys? Where was I? Good morning, FX Wolf. Welcome to the stream. Don't know if I said good morning, but good morning. Happy New Year to you. Hope you're doing well. Ahmed, good morning. Hope you're well. Yes, I'll go through Euro Yen for you, no problem. CS integrated. Waiting for a further pullback. Okay, are you still waiting for that pullback, CS integrated? To 1.05 in the DXY? Because it's been very, very flat, and now it's kind of looking like it's trying to break higher. 1.05. Okay, so you're looking somewhere down here for a pullback. Yeah, I mean, not sure if we'll get that pullback anymore. For me, that would be a little bit too big because it'll be breaking structure at that point, because this is our swing low that gave us the swing high. So I don't want to see price break through 1.054. That will keep me bullish. If it was to break through that, then I would lose that bias. But at the moment, yeah, USD is looking very strong. Looks like it's breaking out of this range here as well. So it'll be a tricky one. It'll be a tricky one. If it does maintain that, then hopefully we can find some more aggressive pullbacks on some of the other markets. Good morning, Amit. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Good morning, Dark Sean. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Karis, good morning. Hope you're doing good. Happy New Year. Right back at you. GJ 5 minute. Okay. Scalp position, looking for 70 to 100 pips. Okay, so I'll go look at Euro Yen and Pound Yen for you. Emmanuel, good morning. Hope you're well. JPY strength back on board. Yes, we'll go through the JPY pairs. Do not worry about that 100%. What's up, Pragasar? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Aussie New Zealand dollar, looking for buys. Okay. I'm actually looking at Aussie New Zealand dollar as well for some setups. I need a much bigger move down first. Can't remember which price I'm specifically looking to buy from. I know which level, but I don't know the price off the top of my head. But I will go look at Aussie New Zealand dollar. Blessing, Euro Yen, we'll take a look as well. No problem. Amir, good morning. Happy New Year right back at you. Analysis USD more manageable. Yeah, I mean, if Euro can break through the lows, I think there could be some nice shorts there, but we shall see. Anyway, I'll go for Euro Yen and Pound Yen, and then we'll take a look at Aussie New Zealand dollar. So, yeah, Euro Yen, we did see a bit of a move to the downside. I mean, not just for Euro Yen, but across the board for the Yen pairs, bit of a move to the downside this morning. Again, I'm still looking for the longer term bearish move for some of these Yen pairs. Not dollar yen, not CHF JPY, but Euro Yen, CAD Yen, Pound Yen, Aussie Yen, New Zealand Yen. I'm still pretty bearish on them despite the recent uptrend we've had. But the areas I'm looking to short, well, at least in Euro Yen's case, is still this high here, 166.655. If we can see a push back to this area, I will be looking for that really large double top and a big sell. If of course I do get the confirmations I'm after, but I'm still looking for a big short for Euro Yen and some of the other yen pairs, which we'll get to in a moment. But I have talked about some shorter term buys to take advantage of on the way up. For us to get there, then of course I will look for my sells. But at the moment in time, the market structure is still holding. Yes, we have seen some JPY strength come into the market, and of course, Euro Yen and other corresponding pairs have had a bit of a dip, but market structure is still intact, so I wouldn't read too much into it. If this was to really tank and start to look like it's going to take out this low here, then I'll say, okay, structure's changing. This bullish structure has met its end, and we could be looking at major lower high forming in comparison to that high there. And then we can speak about some shorts back to the low and so on and so forth. We don't have that yet. So I'm very much still looking to flow with market structure. Yes, a bit of a drop this morning, but it hasn't really done anything that has made me want to change my bias. So in the meantime, for Euro, I still like the buys. We're coming back into a nice area structure, retesting that high, which of course will be turn support. Before we even had this move to the upside, I gave out two areas where I think longs look good for Euro Yen. I said the retest of the high here, and I also mentioned the retest of, if I drop to the hourly chart, the retest of this area here as well as a nice area to long from. Brief consolidation, strong move to the upside. Haven't had a retest of that area since the break. So from one of these two areas, I think longs still look very good for Euro Yen. Risk reward looks even better now. I've had a bigger drop, at least the push back to the consolidation there looks good. If we were to go and take out this low, that's when like I said, I'll throw my hands up. Maybe we are going to sell off from here. But still, yes, a bit of a drop here, but the market's still very corrective now, which gives me the impression that we are likely to see a push up. So from 162,300, 161,500, I'm expecting price to turn around. I wouldn't say it's quite ready yet. I would still look for a bit more momentum, but it's definitely in an area where I would expect price to bounce from. So I'd keep an eye to see if we do get that shift in momentum, a strong bullish candle close, either from that area or that area. I'd look for price to turn around. So yeah, still pretty bullish on Euro Yen, still looking for more upside. This one's probably one of the better pairs for buys. I think Pound Yen is looking a little bit awkward. We'll get into that in a moment, but the plan is still looking for a buy back to this area and then some sells back down from that area. That is still very much my plan. So until something changes, of course, I'll let you guys know, but that is still very much my plan with Euro Yen. In terms of Pound Yen, it looks a bit more awkward with Pound Yen, I would suggest. Yeah, a bit more awkward. This is still the area which I said buys look good for Pound USD. So if we start breaking through this, again, I would still expect the move to the upside until we break structure, which is for me this low here. If we were to break through that, then again, I'll pull my hands up. At that point, looking for a push to the downside. This looks like it's sort of done a double top, not pinpoint because it hasn't got back to the high yet, but the market's not perfect. And then we could be looking at a big move to the downside at that point. If we take out these lows here, which again, we haven't done yet. So I'm still looking at another push to the upside. So similar to euro yen, still looking at a push to the upside back to the double top back at 199.6. And then from there is where I'm looking for my sells to take it right back down again. So I'm still very much bearish bias longer term with the yen pairs. I'm looking at that massive drop in July. I'm looking at this as still a corrective move of that drop in July and possibly a pullback for price to see a continuation. So that's still my main thought process with GJ, Euro Yen as well, and some other yen pairs, which we'll get to in a moment. But yeah, in the meantime, I still do like the buys. Now, of course, we had a pretty big drop this morning, so it's made things a little bit awkward. I would keep a close eye to see how price develops in this area because at the moment we're looking pretty bearish. But again, if we start to see some really strong wick rejections, a strong bullish engulfing, I think this could still be a really great place for a trade. It's still a great area, and finding some confirmations in there, stops below, still looking at a pretty healthy move back to the highs here. So that double top there. And of course, you got that 4H daily zone just above us at 199.6. Still probably looking at comfortable 1 to 2, 1 to 3, maybe a 1 to 4 as well. So risk reward still looks pretty decent. So yeah, I'm still looking for the buys here. Maybe we do dip below a little bit because we might have a deeper pullback into this area here. If I whip out the fib, I would expect maybe the 0.78 to be just below us a little bit. Yeah, so we might dip back and test that area first before pushing up. So be aware of that. But as long as we don't take it that low, like I said, still looking at push to the upside and then the sell. Someone mentioned a scalping opportunity in the 5-minute chart on pound yen. So let me take a look at that. If I can find the message. Okay, darker Sean, 5-minute time frame for a long scalp position for in from 195.810, target 70 to 100 pips. Okay, so you're looking at a long and you're in from 95.810. So that's around here-ish. Let me mark down the chart. And you're looking for 70 to 100 pips. Let's see how far that is. Okay, so at least the push back into that area, that's a 70 pip move. 100 probably takes you into that little low there. So yeah, I mean, it's a pretty juicy sculpt, to be honest, especially in the 5-minute chart. It's almost like your swing trade in the 5-minute chart at that point. But yeah, 70 pips is definitely a meaningful move. But of course, because it's pound yen, 70 pips isn't that big, to be honest. But on the lower time frames, it's still a pretty juicy move. I would imagine your stop loss maybe underneath this low or underneath this low, if I'm not mistaken. Let me know. But yeah, risk reward regardless is looking pretty good as well. So yeah, I do like it. Again, like I said, it's an area where I would expect momentum from. I would be looking at entries on the hourly chart, but I'll be looking at a bigger move as well, like I said, back to this area. So it's a different kind of scope we're looking at. But at least from a higher time frame analysis, it's both still in a nice area where I do expect price to turn around. We've just about taken out these lows here as well, which is another reason why I do expect price to turn around too. Last time we took out some lows, what happened? Bit of a move to the downside. Price did push up again. So I kind of do expect the same thing as well. So yeah, in a nice area for a buy. Like I said, I'll be looking at the hourly chart for the turnaround just to give myself more of a confirmation that things are turning around. But if you catch it in the 5-minute, you get better entry. So it makes sense as well. But yeah, if your stop loss is below the low, a few pips of wiggle room, I think it's a nice area for a buy. If you do get stopped, I can always look for re-entries in that same area. But yeah, I do like the area. I do think we can bounce there for pound. Both a nice place on the higher time frames and the lower time frames. But yeah, nice trade. I would suggest maybe looking at some partials along the way or trading a stop loss because yeah, it's a bit bigger than a scalp. I would suggest 70 pips there, but I like the location and the trade idea. Okay, so I'll go through Aussie New Zealand dollar. Okay, so I'll go through UJ as well. Set to die, welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing good. Dollar CHF. Okay, we'll go through dollar CHF as well for you. Let me just go through Aussie, New Zealand dollar first. What's up, More? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Happy New Year. Hope you're well. Darkton, 20 pip stop loss. Okay, 20 pip stop loss. So that probably takes you below the low there, doesn't it? But drop to the 5 minute. 20 pip stops. Yeah, so probably. Oh no, it does take you below the low. 20 pips is around tierish. Yeah, I mean, again, if you're going to go for a tight stop loss, then of course it's going to be you're going to take more losses for it. But the benefits of taking a tight stop loss is that bigger risk rewards, of course, and that's really the aim of it. But like I said, if you do get stopped out, it's still in a nice area, so consider looking for some re-entries, of course, if it still fits your plan and whatnot. But it's an area where I do think price can turn around. And I would be looking for price to turn around there on the higher time frames as well, which is a good confluence. At the moment, really strong drop down the 4 hour, so momentum is pretty bearish. But if you can see some strong rejection, I do think we can turn around there. Anyway, I'll go through Aussie, New Zealand dollar next. Okay, so Pragasar said he's looking for some buys from 1.107, 1.107. Okay, so at the high. Are you looking for a break and retest or just simply buy at that price? Of course, with the way I trade, I would never buy into resistance. So I would have to wait for the break and retest of that, which I think you'd probably be looking at too. But yeah, I would wait for price to go and break through that and then contemplate some buys above that. But yeah, I like actually Aussie New Zealand dollar to the upside. It's a pair actually I'm looking at. I like the market structure. It's pretty consistent. It's very, very slow. But I have to say it's consistent. So it gives me the impression that this trend can still push on. It's a very, very corrective trend, but you can you can see that there's a very slight trend going on here, just about make it out. New highs we just created as well, anticipating new higher low. So that is the move I'm looking for, which I would expect you're probably looking at a similar move as well. So yeah, very much still looking at the buys for Aussie New Zealand dollar. The area I wanted to get involved and still want to get involved with Aussie New Zealand dollar is actually a pullback to this area. If you can get pushed back to the low, I really like this place for a buy because it kind of gives like a big bull flag pattern. So there's your first drop there. There's your correction of that drop, and then another drop, and then the buy. That's kind of what I'm looking at personally for Aussie New Zealand dollar. Whether it happens or not, of course, is a different question, but I think that's still a really nice place for a buy. Of course, if it doesn't happen and price is already formed the high low and it kind of already wants to move back to highs already, then something like this becomes your next best trade. There's a pretty solid level here. If I take this across, pretty solid level resistance here. So if price was to get back above that, that would be a strong sign that says, okay, the buyers are ready to take this one higher. This, of course, is now going to be turned into a solid area of support. And that'll be a great place to long. You can see the high lows the market's printing. 1, 2. Could easily see a third one in this area and a push back to the high there as well. So yeah, I have to say I do like Aussie New Zealand dollar to the upside, especially above 1.108. Some break and retest there look good. It would be great if I can see the bigger pullback to this area, but yeah, I mean, it could happen. Never rule anything out, but momentum still looks pretty good. So this might be your next best opportunity. So keep an eye on the break and retest, solid level, which will become support as well. And judging on the higher time frames, the fact that we do have bullish structure in our favor, it ticks a lot of boxes. You've got higher time frames backing you, lower time frames backing you, breaking through key resistance. Of course, nothing's guaranteed, but you're definitely putting a lot of probabilities and confidence in your favor at that point. So yeah, I think Aussie New Zealand dollar actually looks like a really good pair at the moment. Not my favorite pair at all. I think it's probably my least favorite pair, maybe alongside Euro Pound. But right now, I do like the opportunity, which is why I do keep it on my radar. I don't trade it often, but there will be good trades here and there, and I want to make sure I'm there to catch them. But yeah, it does look good. I'll go through dollar CHF and then I'll just go through the remaining yen pairs. So dollar yen, CAD yen, Aussie, all of them together. Compounding small accounts, so I will try my stop loss to break even 45. Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say because 70 pip move, of course, definitely not guaranteed, but if you can have some type of trade management along the way, look to secure gains or protect downside at least. I think would be a smart move to take. But yeah, if you're looking to compound the small account, of course, looking at higher risk reward trades is the best way to go with it. Not every trade you're going to hit is going to be a big winner, but if you can have a bit of trade management in place, trading stops, partial system, can definitely very much help with that. Okay, pound CAD. Okay, I'll go for dollar CHF, pound CAD, and I'll go for the rest of the yen pairs. So dollar CHF, someone mentioned they are looking at that currency pair. Where is it? Okay, set to die, dollar CHF, 0.9750, looking for longs at that area. So, yeah, the way I'm looking at Aussie, New Zealand dollar, I've got Aussie, New Zealand dollar on the brain now. The way I'm looking at dollar CHF is basically we've got equal highs up here, equal lows down here. The market is bouncing between the two. At the moment, we've had a really strong rejection off the low, and we've had a really nice trend form since then. So it looks like prices most likely trending back to retest. Oh, can just completely miss that there. There we go. Trending just to go retest the high of the range around 0.92. So in my book, there's still a little bit more upside to be had to get to that level. And of course, since I'm very bullish on USD anyway, does kind of feed into that bias. That dollar CHF is probably going to make a push back to the high here, especially with the help of USD being strong as well. So I like the buys for dollar CHF. Maybe not my favorite pair in the world because we are trading within a range, but there is a pretty confident trend at the moment, at least on the 4-hour chart. So looking to flow with that is never a bad idea. So I do like what I'm seeing. I have spoken about a couple of areas of interest, in particular this level here as being a nice place for a buy. Just quite haven't seen that move happen really. This was the last swing low. This is the new high. Got some nice confluence there. Tapping the 50. Maybe we spike into the 0.618 as well. I think that's a really nice place for a buy. Of course, that being a swing low, this being a new swing high. So 0.888 would be a very nice place for a buy. Even the retest of the high here as well. Not a bad place either, especially if you can maybe tag the 50 for big wick. That would be nice. But this will be my number one area. You said you're looking at 0.89750, which is a little bit higher up. 89750. Okay, you're looking somewhere around here. Nope. Here for a buy. So yeah, I'm not too sure what particular confluence you're looking at or why that area looks good to you. But more or less looking at same area, 0.8500, 89500 would be a nice area to long from, and definitely 0.888 as well. But the goal is looking for a pullback to find the next high low and keep buying the market as we push along. 0.92 is the area I'm expecting price to end up at. We still got a bit of a distance to play. So the way I'm looking at dollar CHF at the moment is we've kind of got the intraday, intra-week momentum and pullbacks. So you got these pullbacks here, one there, second there, third there, fourth, and potentially even one this morning here as well, which could be looking to get ready to rip maybe New York session. So the market is giving us these kind of minor pullbacks intraday, which are some nice buying opportunities on the lower time frames. But also it's giving us the bigger pullbacks. If I scoot to the 4-hour chart, which is, these swing lows here, the swing low here as well. And this is, of course, the beginning of the trend, but these are the bigger ones. So it's either price is going to do one or two things, or one or three, actually. It's either going to reverse and not continue up. It's going to give us a bigger pullback, which is this pullback sort of, or it's going to give us just another intraday pullback and keep pushing, which would be what we just mentioned on the lower chart. So if it does sustain that lower time frame bullish trend, then you're going to kind of be looking at pullbacks in this regard. Push, another pullback, high, low, so on and so forth. If you do get the bigger pullback and let's say that trend line breaks, then we start looking at these particular levels for the buys. And of course, if that doesn't hold and we break the low, then we've got a reversal, which is option number 3. And then we start talking about some shorts. So that's the kind of the way I'm looking at dollar CHF. But yeah, definitely bullish. as long as we keep up that market structure, and I do think we end up back at this high. So yeah, that's kind of the way I'm looking at dollar CHF. Okay, so I'll squeeze in pound CAD and I'll go through the yen pairs. Yeah, dollar yen I'll take a look at, Dan Rick. I'll just go through pound CAD first and then go through dollar yen and the rest of the yen pairs together. Back to July. Okay, that's good information. That's good information to know how many trades you'll be getting per day. Yeah, I mean, if you're seeing that consistency, you can see the opportunities you're getting. Then you kind of already know that, okay, if I'm getting one good trade per day, then your job really is just to find that good trade per day. You know, even sometimes you get 3 or 4. Don't really have to worry or concern yourself about that. One good trade per day will give you more than enough opportunities to make the gains you're looking for. You know, if you can get one per day, that's a great number to look at, especially if you're managing your risk well. So, yeah, if you're getting that kind of level of frequency of good trades, then kind of just wait for that one trade, one bullet in the chamber per day. When it comes, you let fly, win, lose, or draw, and you move on to the next day. And that could be a great way to manage risk as well, because you're not over trading either. But yeah, we'll go to pound CAD, then we'll go through the yen pairs. So yeah, pound CAD looks like it's really struggling at this level of resistance. I have spoken about some shorts from this level here. We are seeing a bit of downside, but you can see the number of wicks we had into the zone on the weekly chart. So price has really been trying to break through. We've had a really nice bullish trend, but yeah, it doesn't look like it's being successful at the moment. Trying to break through 1.81. There is a level just above us, which should we break through that current level right now, we're probably going to end up at, which is back at the swing high here, which is only just above us. But at the moment in time, we're really failing to break through that level. So on the lower charts, we did speak about this lovely head and shoulder pattern, which actually played out very well. I was not quite confident with the rejection. I wanted to see a bit more rejection from this area, but it sold off very aggressively. I think CAD was very strong at the time. Pound CAD, Euro CAD, Aussie CAD, New Zealand CAD, all those pairs had a really big move down. And yeah, we did kind of sell off a cliff a little bit. Now we're coming back into the neckline of the pattern, so-called, back into that low. So I said shorts look good here, but I would suggest looking to lock in most of my gains at this low, just because I know I'm counter trend and that trend could kick in at any point. So I do lock in most of my gains there. Number one, I'm paid myself. Number two, I can leave positions to run and be a bit more confident with them, because even if they do push and then pull back against me, I still walk away with the profit already banked. And if price does reverse, I could, maybe even hold it down to that low there. So there is a possibility that we could turn around from this price, and it could be a big swing to the low here, maybe even further. Difficult to predict that. Difficult to predict when price will actually reverse, of course. But we are really failing at these lows. And if we do see a strong break of this level, that could open up the door to a lot more downside. So I'd say the next best opportunity now with pound CAD would be if price can break the low here, then looking at some shorts below that. So let's say we get a strong break like this, breaking the neckline. This does open up the door to the next lower high, because of course we've already got one over there. Second over here with the break. We need that break to get to confirm that or qualify that as the next lower high. And then we could be looking at the third one, which again could present some nice shorting opportunities, so on and so forth, back to low. Again, still being very cautious with these trades because we're still counter trend. So even if we do see a very clean break of this level here and a nice lower high, again, still being cautious that we might only get a push back to that low before price changes direction. And then, of course, you can leave positions to run, maybe back to the low here, or if you're feeling a bit more confident, back to the low there as well. So, yeah, that's kind of where I look at pound CAD. Now that boat has sailed, the shorts up here on that head and shoulder pattern, left head and your right shoulder. Now that boat has sailed, this becomes your next best opportunity for some shorts. And if you're looking for buys, I'd wait for this level to break completely, and then look for some longs above that, because I know then that will be a really strong level of support, and the chances are we're going to push back to that next level of resistance on the daily, weekly chart as well. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with pound CAD for now. Still expecting a lot more downside. but crucial that we do break that support before we do find some more trading opportunities. Anyway, let's go to the yen pairs and we'll work our way through them. We'll start with dollar yen. So dollar yen, I'm still very bullish, looking for buys. It's a pair on my radar, and I'm looking for opportunities to take this one higher. Unfortunately, doesn't look like we're quite seeing the pullback I am after. I'm still looking for a push into this area. If I whip out the lovely fib from the low to the high, you can see we've got the 50 just about in that area. So it would be nice if we can get a deep pullback, test the 50 as well. Two birds, one stone sort of thing. Take it back to the high, and then hopefully take it back to this high here as well. I'll be really looking to try and maximize this position because overall the trend is still pretty bullish on dollar yen. We haven't broken through any major structure, and we haven't really shown signs of kind of looking to form a lower high like we've done with some other yen pairs. So because of dollar yen, because of what we're seeing on the higher time frames, we've had a really strong breaking test of this weekly zone here. As you can see, strong push into this area, strong rejection as well. So there's a lot of things point to the upside for dollar yen. So I'm actually looking for a swing back to the high here at 161. And again, I'm not going to be in a situation where I put a buy in and just completely hold all the way up to 161. I will be trading stops. I will probably lock in some partials too to manage the trade, but it will be a situation where I really try and maximize it because I know the higher time frames in my favor. So yeah, that's really the setup I'm after. After we took up the highs here, that has made me bullish, at least based on structure anyway, for dollar yen. So I'm now looking for a pullback and a continuation of that. If the market trend is going to remain bullish and we maybe just see dollar break the highs, then this will be your next best opportunity, really. So if we don't see that bigger pullback, something like this, a strong break of the high, retest, and then just continuations, because we have been pretty bullish as of late. You got the low there, frequent high lows. Maybe this is the next one, and then that will be the next one after it, so on and so forth. There is a lot of momentum in the market at the moment. So yeah, very bullish in dollar yen. It's either we get the break and retest and the pullbacks off that, or we get the bigger pullback, the bigger swing, try and form another major high low like we did over there, over here. That'll be fantastic. And then I'll try and hold that trade at least back to the highs here, preferably back to that weekly zone. So that's really where I'm at with dollar yen. It's a pair on my watch list, it's a pair I'm keeping a close eye on at the moment. And yeah, I'm just hoping for a pullback and the opportunity. But the funny thing is, dollar yen's the only yen pair which I'm actually looking for that big swing. If I go to CAD yen, for example, I'm actually looking at the inverse of this, the opposite move, which is weird because they tend to move in the same direction. So, and the thing is, I'm not too bothered about that because I know one of that bias is going to be right. So for CAD yen, for example, I'm looking at, oh, that's going to annoy me. There we go. So for CAD yen, I'm looking at a big swing and a big double top at this area here for a big push to the downside. So it's either CAD yen is going to give me that and we're going to push back down to the lows and happy days, or it is actually going to break through the highs here and actually trend back to the high there. Yeah, it's either one of the two. Price can't do another thing. It might consolidate and take some time for sure, but it's either going to come back to this low or that high eventually. Same with dollar yen. And you're going to be right or wrong. But the funny thing is, there will be signs that will tell me, okay, which one is likely more to happen. Then I'll change my bias. And the beauty of risk reward is that even if you do take a couple losses, one trade can make that back and then some as well. So, it's never too critical to have your bias spot on and perfect because even if it is wrong, you can always change the bias and capitalize in the opposite direction. But anyways, in terms of my analysis for CAD yen, this is the move I'm looking for. I did catch some shorts here, trying to look for the exact same move back to the low. Unfortunately, maybe I just got into the trade a little bit too early. I mean, it was still a good trade. It's just for the bigger move I'm looking at, maybe it's a little bit too early for the trade. So I'm going to have another stab at it again, see if I can catch some shorts from the same price. Hopefully get a nice move down, and hopefully this will be the real deal to get us to the low and maybe even further as well. I'll be looking at trail stops and seeing how far I can take it. But yeah, in terms of the more immediate price action, if I drop to the 4-hour chart, so yeah, as I've been talking about, I like the retest of the high here, which looks like price is just about done. more or less, or has it missed it? Might have just missed it by like a pip or so. It's always a bit awkward when the market does that. But yeah, hasn't quite tested it. But again, the market's not perfect. But yeah, if I'm going to take a trade, it has to actually test the level, even to the pip, to be honest, because that's what I've tested. You know, if it hasn't hit my level, I'm not going to take the trade. Um, but anyway, so yeah, I would wait for price to have another wick to the downside. And I think that actually could be a good idea because we already had a really strong drop here in that last 4-hour candle. So another push down will stop out any early traders who got into the buys because their stop losses will just be just below these wicks here. So that liquidity could play into our advantage, and then we could see the buy happen in the next run potentially. If it continues now, it can continues now. But if it does push back down one more time, I would expect to see, or at least wait for some solid rejection afterwards. And there could be some nice buys from that zone. And if that zone doesn't hold, then we've always got this secondary here down at 107.5, which looks like a very good zone, equally as good almost. Nice consolidation here. Brief pause in the market, really strong move to the upside. Of course, I think that was the yen interest rates. And it has left behind a solid area of consolidation for a retest. So with CAD yen, very bullish on the short term. We still do have bullish structure at large. Lovely double bottom there, broke through the neckline very well. Let me draw that correctly. There we go. Broke from neckline well, create a new high, then we create a new higher low, then again a new higher high. So our plan is find that next higher low. These are the two areas I'll be looking at for it to form. And then, of course, looking for a swing at least back to the high. But if it all goes well, back to 111.8, 11.1, sorry. And then hopefully, if I get the confirmation I want to see, hopefully some really big sells right back down again. And that is the big swing trade I'm looking at. So yeah, that's really where I'm at with CAD Yen. Some upside before some shorts, which is similar to my bias on Euro Yen as well, which is looking for some upside. I drop back to the 4-hour chart. Looking for some upside from one of those two areas, and then a big sell from that double top, and same with pound yen as well. Some upside from this current area, and then double top, and then a big sell. And yeah, I'm just going to wait to see how that develops, but that is really the trade I'm looking for. Yeah, that's very true. Well, not every yen pair is the same. Dollar's very strong. Yeah, true. Of course, not every yen pair will move exactly the same, especially dollar yen, with dollar being a big driving force of that one. But on average, they do the same thing. On average, maybe dollar yen will be a bit stronger, therefore it doesn't trend as well. Maybe it moves sideways, whereas pound yen, euro yen maybe trends down. So there will be kind of situations where they're out of sync. But I like it when I have the same bias for everyone. But that's a very good point. Sometimes dollar yen and Swiss yen sometimes can be a bit of out of sync with the other yen pairs, just because maybe CHF or dollar are doing a craziness. And that's kind of what's happening at this point in time, which is a good point, to be fair. But at least when euro yen and pound yen are in sync is always a good thing, because they kind of do 90% of the time. Those two currency pairs are doing the same thing as well. So yeah, I'll go take a look at Aussie yen, New Zealand yen, and Swiss yen next, and then I'll go through some more requests. I'm actually in a Euro CHF trade, and I'll break that down as well afterwards. There's a pair I was looking at last week, didn't quite develop. Finally got an entry for it today. Cease integrated dollar is going for 109 as we speak. Okay. Seeing some movement today, which is good. Oh my word. You are correct. It is going for 109. Wow. Yeah, last time we had a look at USD, we were just around here, just about testing the high. So yeah, it does not look like we're getting that bigger pullback to this area. And the break and retest we just mentioned is probably the more realistic opportunity now with USD. Of course, there's kind of still got an hour left before it closes. As long as it doesn't provide a massive wick and closes back underneath resistance, this is what I'll call a very strong breakout candle. And I wouldn't be looking for a retest straight away, but if you can see a bit more upside, maybe push to 109. I think pullbacks after that make a load of sense. But yeah, looking at that quarterly close, I think is such a significant candle, to be honest, because it just really puts to bed the range we've had over the past year and a half, 2 years. This range here is now completely ended. Of course, it could still be a fake out. Nothing's guaranteed, no matter how good it looks. But as trades, we got to deal in probability, and the probability does lie with the buys now. Very strong close last quarter. I do think that's probably going to take us back to resistance up here. So I'm expecting a bit of a trend to form, which is why I'm pretty excited for 2025, because I think we could see a nice, healthy USD bullish trend back to 112, 113, 114. And of course, that means Euro USD downside, Pound USD downside, pretty much against all the USD majors, really. So we'll see what happens as time goes on. But yeah, looking very bullish this morning, 100%. And if that continues, we're probably going to see a really nice trend form. So we'll keep a close eye on that. Anyway, let me go through the yen pairs and get that wrapped up. And then I'll go through some requests, and I'll go through my trade as well. Yes, more. I'll go through them. I did take a quick look at gold, but I will go through BTC and oil for you, no problem. Ben, good morning, my man. Happy New Year. Hope you're well. The daily and yearly candle being the same. Maybe, yeah. I think you are a bit of a sado, mate. Yeah. 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 I was going to try and come up with something there, but I couldn't, mate. Just a bit of a sado. I'm joking. Anyway, so yeah, with Aussie yen, I don't like it. I was going to say I like it, but I don't. I was actually starting to like it if we actually broke through the highs last week, but I didn't respect it very aggressively. It does look to me like things are turning around, and price is forming a bit of a bottom here. So it looks like we could be seeing a bit of a move to the upside. But what I wanted to see last week was a strong break of the high and then some pullbacks, and then look for the next higher low, of course, and that would be the opportunity to find some buys. But we had a bit of a strong move down, and this could just be the next higher low. You've got one over there, just about a second over there, and this could be the third, of this move here. So that could be the next higher low, and then we could see a big move to the upside, and then the pullbacks could happen, and that would be the really nice buy opportunity for myself. But of course, there's a long way to go before that does happen, and there are the better opportunities at the moment anyway. So yeah, Aussie yen, I like it if we can see that strong move to the upside, because if I do expand to the daily chart, this to me looks like the next higher low in the sequence. So you got the low there, you got the second one there. This looks like the third one. And of course, if that is the next higher low, then there's a pretty good chance that we do push back to this high here at 102.315. And then just like CAD yen, Euro yen, Pound yen, I'll be looking at some sales to try and take these guys right back down again. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at with Aussie yen. Long way to go, but at the moment, we're kind of just ranging really. Sideways price action, so not a lot to do with it. But if you do see a strong break to the upside, these high lows look good to take it back to the upside, and then hopefully some sells at a later date to take it back down. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. New Zealand yen, same thing as well. Aussie yen, New Zealand yen tend to do the exact same thing. So you can see as well, lovely consolidation here. Again, I was getting excited last week because it looked like we were. Was that last week or this week? That was actually this week. It feels like it was last week because we had the markets closed yesterday. So it feels like it's a new week, but it's Thursday. Need to get my head around that. But yeah, we almost got a breakout to the upside on Monday. Didn't quite happen. Really strong sell off to the downside. Still bullish though, because we've had so many rejections of this low. Not a healthy sign of a market that's trending lower. The fact we keep spiking lower, keep providing wicks, keep seeing momentum to the upside. Not a healthy market that is trending lower. A market more likely to turn around. So again, still waiting for that to happen, but need to see a break out of this range, and then hopefully the next higher low could look good. Maybe that is our first low. This could be our second low and third low as well. I'm looking to get involved. Of course, this will now become support for me. Then hopefully we can catch that next bounce. And again, similar to Aussie yen, we've got one low here, second there, third there. Could see a nice push back to this high. Then hopefully maybe some sells at a later date to take us back down. That's really what I'm looking at for these guys. But yeah, first things first, let's break out that consolidation. Then finally, you got your CHF JPY, which is actually looking pretty bearish at the moment. So yeah, with this one, I'm looking for more upside as well. I think it's at a nice area for a buy, to be honest. Not my favorite yen pair for the buys or the sells, to be honest. I think CAD yen or Euro yen, even pound yen looks a lot better, to be honest. But I am looking for a push back to the high, but I'm not confident with the sells with this one. I won't be looking at a double top and a sell. It doesn't quite fit the confluences I'm looking at, but still a nice area of support because you can see we consolidated there for a while and had a really strong break to the upside. And of course, this is our first time retesting. So I think this is still a great place for a buy. And again, at least the push back to where we came from. Trying to find the next high low in that sequence. So yeah, really with the yen pairs, looking for a bit of upside, but I think the bigger move is still with the bears. So that's really where my focus lies for now. No hope for you. Don't worry, just take some time off the charts, Ben. You'll be back to normal again soon. Looking for buys in gold. If you get a little retrace, okay. Looking for some buys in gold. I was looking for some buys in silver, but I missed the entry this morning. Actually, it closed at 2 a.m. And I was snoring at that time, unfortunately. Maybe if it comes back for another retest, I'll look for some buys. But I'll go through gold, silver, Bitcoin, oil next, and then I'll take a look at my Euro CHF position. But overall, it does look like we're seeing momentum coming back, guys. So I'm liking this. It was, of course, a slow couple of weeks, and as expected, it's the festive time, but it's only the 2nd of Jan, and looks like the market's not messing around, especially with USD anyway. But yeah, with gold, you said you're looking for some longs there. Ben, now with me, I'm not really convinced yet with gold. I'm still very much a buyer, or want to be a buyer of this one anyway. I'm not buying it yet. But I am still very much expecting a push back to the all-time highs there with gold. And the original plan I had with gold was looking for the retest of the low here. I was expecting this to drop from last week and continue back to the lows. Didn't quite happen. We got about 2/3 of the way before we hit this, before coming to that low, before turning around. Now we're still in a zone where we could sell off, but I'm not as confident. I spoke about this early on the stream. And when I do mark up my zones, I'm looking for the first or second test of that zone. Very rarely do I take the third or fourth, because normally at that point in time, the zone is not likely going to hold anymore, whether I'm looking at support and resistance or supply and demand. It's the exact same concept. If the market is going to move from that area, it wouldn't come back a third or fourth time. Again, not guaranteed. Sometimes it does move at the third or fourth, but on average, you're better off waiting for the first or second test. So the fact that we're there again, especially if you go and break through, of course, does give me the sign that we probably could be forming another high low for a buy. So yeah, if we were to break through the zone, it looks to me that this could just be a bit of a fake out of that low. So this move here, then the buys look good again. So if we could see a bit more upside there for gold, then I'll be more convinced with the buys, trying to look for the next high low of this sequence. So you've got one over there, this being your second, and of course you're looking for your third, and then maybe a push back to the area of resistance up there. So yeah, with that, I can sort of see the idea there with gold. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of the price action personally, so I'm not really looking at it myself. I would still like to see a move back down to the low here, but like I said, not looking as likely anymore with the continuation fading there. So yeah, maybe price has just faked this low here, and now we're firmly back above it. Might go and use that as support to push on. So that's kind of what I'm looking at next for gold. But in terms of silver, I did have a nice setup actually, but yeah, just kind of closed outside of my trading hours, unfortunately. I was looking for a strong shift momentum. I was looking for the double bottom here. Lovely close this morning on the 4-hour chart, but closed at 2 a.m. So yeah, it wasn't a wait to take it, but again, the idea is still the same. I actually prefer silver a lot more to gold in terms of the price action. It's a lot more straightforward to me. You've got really healthy bullish structure, so you got the original push down here, pullback, push, pullback, push. Looking at this as another pullback for another push, and that's just keeping it very, very simple. Still looking at this as a corrective move, sort of like a bull flag, if you will, for a push back to the high. So it's a more of an aggressive trade because I'm trying to catch the bottom of the pullback. But again, with a swing trading mindset, if you get it right, it could be a beautiful trade, especially on a market like silver, which could rip to new highs quite easily. So yeah, if it does come back down again, like I said, I may consider entering, or I may just try and catch a pullback somewhere later on if it does really pull through. So something like this, and then find the next buy opportunity, take it higher. So yeah, just means I enter at a later date. But yeah, silver was a nice opportunity. Looks like that is in motion at the moment, but still pretty bullish on both of them. I'll go through BTC and oil, and I'll take a look at my trade in USDCF. So yeah, Bitcoin looking bullish, I have to say. Is Bitcoin making a comeback? I've talked a lot about this level of support with Bitcoin. I said this is make or break for Bitcoin. I said if we can hold to this support, I do think we can see another continuation back to the highs at 106, 107K, and of course a lot further. Maybe we go through a really big bull run. But I also said if we break through this, I lose a lot of confidence in the buys for Bitcoin. And the next reasonable area to buy from becomes 73, 74K. So if we were to break through that, that would be the next area where I would look for a bounce on Bitcoin. But at the moment, I have to say it's doing pretty well. A lot of wicks, a lot of rejection in this zone. It looks like momentum's picking up as well. So if you can see another strong candle close today, I wouldn't be too surprised on a move like that back to 107K, 108K, and new highs as well. So yeah, Bitcoin's looking good, I have to say. It looks like momentum's kicking in, but most importantly, support is holding. We're holding support. Buys are winning that battle. So if we can keep that up, I do think there's a move for us to push back to the highs. And like I said, if things change, if we break through, then this becomes the next best area for buys. Maybe you can find some sells in the meantime. But that's really my outlook there for Bitcoin. And whilst on the topic, let me quickly go through Ethereum, see what's happening there. So Ethereum, I'm not as convinced with this one because we've already broken through support and we did it pretty well too. So even if we do have some momentum, I wouldn't be surprised if Ethereum just does this to sell off again. So yeah, not as confident with Ethereum. Maybe we do end up breaking through. That'll give me a bit more hope. But we broke structure here after a really significant double top. 1, 2, really strong drop. So I actually think Ethereum is not a bad sell, to be honest, which does contradict Bitcoin a little bit, but that is what the technicals point for me. Unless we break through, I don't really see any good buys here with Ethereum until maybe we push back down to some of these lows. And then, yeah, we can maybe discuss some longs there. But yeah, that's kind of really where I'm at with Ethereum. What is up, Anthony? Hope you're doing good. Glad to join the stream. Glad to have you on board. Hope you're doing well. Happy New Year. If you guys are joining the stream, by the way, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, all that good stuff does really help out the stream, helps out the channel. I do really appreciate all the love and appreciation you guys do show on the channel. So thanks a lot. But yeah, guys, drop a like, subscribe. It does help a lot. If you are enjoying it, of course. If you're not, then yeah, I wonder why you're still here. Anyway, more you're looking for a pretty big drop on gold back to 2,500. Okay, I'll go look at oil next. Where is that? 2,500. Okay, so more or less back to there I'm looking to buy from. Yeah, if it gets there, I'm looking for buys 100%. Back at that low. Just need to see if we'll get there. So I'm hoping for that. But yeah, we will see, Bull. We will see. If it gets there, I'm looking for buys. Anyway, I'll go through oil, and then I'll go through my trade in USDCF. Then I'll go through some indices. Ben, good shout. I haven't gone through indices yet. Follow the trend. What is up? Happy New Year's to you as well. Look forward to the trading journey 2025. I agree as well. I've got a feeling that this year could be a lot of momentum, which is something I'm excited for because we've been deprived of that. I'm not gonna lie, 2024. Maybe yen pairs did hold their own, so kudos to them. But USD pairs, which are my favorite pairs to trade, haven't been quite good 2024. There have been some moves, but we've been stuck in a range. So I'm hoping that does break out this year. Anyway, so we'll go through oil. So last time I checked, oil was looking pretty bullish. I don't know if it is still bullish. Yeah, it's looking pretty bullish. Wow. So yeah, it's looking like it's pushing into that zone I'll be mentioning, 77.7. We're back in that area again. I like it as well. I know it's looking bullish here at the moment, but I'll still be keeping a close eye for the sells because I did say when we get here, I would like to see a bit of a fake out because we kind of got that last time, which is these lovely wicks to the upside. Then we got a nice sell from that. Now we're still pushing into the exact same zone. So if price is going to hold this as well, it'll be really nice if we can get some more wicks like we got over there, which will kind of in the area to do that. Open candle looking very bullish. A lot of people buying into this right now. If this could pull back by the time it closes and closes back below, this could be a really nice short to take it back down again because it's either the market's going to do one or two things. It's either going to break resistance or reject resistance. Right now, it's definitely looking like price is breaking through, but I always judge things on candlestick closures. So, things are looking very bullish now, but by the time it candle closes, could be looking very bearish. And, that's the information you want to take. But of course, if we do close bullish and it breaks through and momentum sustains, then yeah, we're probably all looking at a bit of a breakout. And there could be some nice buys. There is some levels on the left here. You could look to go and target as well for the buys too, which do look like a nice opportunity. But I'm still pretty bearish on oil. If I do expand to the daily chart, I'm looking at these major swing highs here. So one over there, second over there, third, fourth, fifth over there, more or less. And I'm kind of looking at number 6 as well. And this is not a bad area for that to form. So I'm still pretty bearish on oil. I do think we can still get a nice drop back to the lows here longer term. Maybe we do have a slightly bigger pullback first before the drop. But as long as we can maintain structure, so as long as we don't break through the high here, I'm looking for us to keep dropping, keep up with this trend line, so to speak. So yeah, I am still bearish longer term. It would be nice to short from here or see if price can turn around and hold that. If not, then there could be some shorter term buys to take advantage of before maybe a bigger sell steps into the market. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with oil. Happy New Year, Mo. Appreciate it. Hope you are doing well. Yeah, hopefully that does continue follow the trend. I'm hoping USD, again, hoping is such a bad word to use in trading. I try to avoid it. But yeah, I do want to see that USD momentum do continue. Looks like it likely will anyway, based on what the higher time frame is looking at and quarterly closures, even the yearly candle closure as well, which I haven't mentioned yet, is looking very bullish. If I go to the dollar DXY, look at the yearly candle closure, scale to the 12-month time frame. You can see here we've had some solid resistance over the past few years. Price has been stuck holding that resistance level, not breaking through. Even 2022, massive wick to the upside, but pull back. 2023 as well, tried to break through, couldn't pull back. Then 2024, we've got the break above that resistance. So that's a sign of breakout, sign of momentum. So I would expect 2025 to take us back into the up end of this wick and maybe even to the prices up here as well. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. But yeah, judging on higher time frame closures, things are looking pretty bullish. So I do think we can really continue this momentum higher. Reading my mind, this one. So let's see on oil. Great minds think alike more. That's all I can say, bro. Great minds think alike. Follow the trend. Fib retracement suggests that gold reach 2665. Retracement, nice sell zone if you agree. Yeah, I'm not really looking to short gold anymore. I'm more interested in the longs, to be honest, but it's not even looking great for the longs just yet. I'm still looking for buys a lot deeper, around 25.50, 25.40. So yeah, price is nowhere near that. I did speak about some sells at this zone, which we had a couple nice reactions from. We tapped into the first time, nice reaction, came a little bit deeper. A better reaction, didn't quite come back to the swing low, but a nice move down. I understand that we're trading there a third time and could still see a reaction, but I'm losing confidence. If price was going to drop to take up the low here and test this low, I would have expected it to happen by now. The fact that we're having a deeper correction, yeah, we still could have a nice push down, but I would expect a higher low to form at this point in comparison to these lows here, and possibly something like this could happen. So the shorts could still look good, but it's just I wouldn't be looking for the big swing anymore. Based on how price is moving. You're looking 26.65, which is maybe around here somewhere, possibly. I mean, you're kind of looking at a pullback of this move, I would suggest. So you got the 0.5, 0.618. So in that kind of zone, I expect this is where you're looking to sell. So yeah, we could see price sell from that. It's not my favorite trade, I have to say. Yeah, but if price is going to keep up with the lower highs, we've got one over there, the double top here as well. Let me put another one here as well. We could see a sell from there, and because momentum, that's a nice drop. It could still happen, but because price looks like it's faking out this low, I'm kind of looking at this happening now with gold. But we'll see when we get there, see if it rejects. But in terms of the setup I'm looking for, because I'm still very bullish, this is what I'm eyeing up. So yeah, hopefully you can get there. Anyway, let me go to Euro CHF. So I do have a trade in Euro CHF, which I took this morning. I'm currently short on this guy from this candle here. This did give me the entry signal I was looking for. I was talking a lot about Euro CHF last week. Happy New Year, Regina. Appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. Ninad, Happy New Year to you as well. Yeah, I hope everyone is doing well. But yeah, happy New Year. So yeah, Euro CHF was a pair I was looking to trade last week. Didn't get the entry. Price was just very lack momentum. Again, the key things I'm looking for my entries is rejection, which is normally in the form of wicks, and then momentum, which is normally in the form of engulfing candles or just candles that represent momentum. And we got really nice wick rejections last week, which is great. So it's a sign that price was rejecting. And then I was waiting for momentum, and it only finally came today. So I did find the entry. I'm looking for a swing to the downside. Again, the idea is that I'm looking to continue with the trend. So you can see for Euro CHF being very consistent with these lower highs. One over there, second over there, third, fourth, fifth, and I'm looking for number 6. As long as price doesn't break structure, which is this high here, as long as we don't break structure, I remain with that bearish bias. And you can see my stop loss is pretty much in that area as well. So if price does go and take me out for a loss, it pretty much changes my bias at the same time as well, which is always a nice place for a stop loss that, okay, if I do get stopped out, it's probably that my idea is not going to work anymore. So now I'm looking at the opposite direction. So it kind of gives you the most opportunity to catch the trade that you're looking for. So hopefully we can see a swing to the downside. I've got a few targets I'm looking at to move stops to break even and take partials. But again, it's a situation where I'll at least trail stops and I'll see what we can do at these lows, because Euro CHF keeps spiking to the downside with these lows and then keeps rebounding higher as well. So I'm looking to see if I can catch another one of these spikes. But then I'm very much prepared to close the trade, because we could very much spike back up again. Every time we do give us a big low, the market shoots back up, as we can see. So I might catch a nice move, but then my profits could disappear quite quickly as well. But if I can get pushed into that low, I'm looking at almost a 1-to-3 anyway, so not a bad risk reward. Could be better, but the entry was pretty big, so that kind of sabotaged my risk reward a little bit, but still fit the plan well, and I'm still happy with the risk reward. So if I can get pushed to the low there, that'll be great. So far, in a bit of profit, but still a long way to go. But yeah, I'm pretty bearish across the board on CHF pairs. I've got a couple CHF pairs on the watch list. Euro CHF, New Zealand CHF, one I'm still looking at. Um, Aussie CHF, I'm kind of looking at, but I still need a big breakout before I can find some trades. But New Zealand CHF still looks really good. Looking to sell just a little 30-minute point move on the lower time frame. Okay. Is that for gold then? The move you're looking for? So yeah, that's currently the only trade I'm in. I was in pound CHF, which was going pretty well, but I did get taken out for a break even. Looks like price is still respecting my zone, but because I did hop into Euro CHF, so that's why I didn't hop back into pound CHF. That was the trade I took. Nice move to the downside, but it did come back against me and take me out break even. Again, I could have found re-entry to get back into the trade, but because I'm trading Euro CHF, there's no point to double up on CHF, especially a closely correlated one like Euro. Either both going to play out or both not. But if I can get to break even, I'll keep an eye out. Maybe I do get another re-entry on pound CHF, or maybe I do get an entry on New Zealand CHF, which is another one which I like a lot. I'm looking at the double top around here to catch the next lower high. So something like this, I push up, reject that high again, and then find some sells. If I map out the bearish structure, you had a high over there, second there, third, looking at the fourth, connecting the dots with the trend line. There's a lot of confluences in this area. So I'll be more than happy to find some entries, but it hasn't quite developed yet. So hopefully I can get to break even for Euro CHF, find an entry with New Zealand CHF, and really just maximize those CHF opportunities. Because again, with CHF, they're pretty much bearish across the board on higher time frames, monthly, weekly, daily, all pointing down. So in terms of holding positions, they make a lot of sense. It is negative swap, which is a bit of a pain, but because you got so much in your favor, they could go really far, which is one of the benefits of it. But I'm looking for a push back to the swing low here. I think this is the all-time low, to be honest, with New Zealand CHF. But it looks good. Risk reward looks good. Hoping I can find an entry in this area and get into the trade. But yeah, very bearish with the CHF pairs at the moment. Okay, we've got okay. Is GBP really weak today? I think so. Pound USD looked like it was bleeding a little bit earlier. Oh wow. Mate, the market's moved so much since I last looked at it. I had a look at the USD pairs at the start of the stream like I normally do, but I haven't looked back at them since. And last time I had a look, price just closed here. But yeah, that is a big move. Why, my word. Pound CHF looked a little bit bearish there too. Pound CAD, what we saying? Yep. Okay, that looks like it's going to get the breakout. GBP Aussie dollar. Yeah, pound does look pretty weak. Yeah, momentum's coming back, peeps. So that's a good sign. Anyway, let me go through the indices. That's how I was going to go through that before I forget. Then I'll go through some of the crosses, some of the CAD pairs as well, too. But yeah, indices. I was speaking about some shorts last week. I do think we can still see more downside. I'm looking for a push back into the lows here because we had some really big breakouts and breakout structures on some key indices like the Dow Jones US 30 broke through this low. This was our last low, which gave us the new high. So breaking through that low would be a break of structure. And it doesn't make me not bullish because, again, I'm definitely longer term bullish. And this swing low here doesn't dictate the whole trend. There are very more important swing lows like the swing low here, which gave us this swing to the upside. So we still very, very likely just having a deeper pullback within this before continuing to the upside. But because we have broke through that 4H swing low, it does indicate to me that more downside is more likely now than us, suddenly going straight to the upside. So I did speak about some shorts last week. I said a nice little double top here could look good. It did have a nice reaction, but didn't quite get to the lows. I still like the shorts from this area. Maybe if you push the upside, take out some of those early stops above the high there. Might see something like that form. These are our lower highs. Finding another one like that looks good. And then hopefully we do get the swing back to the low here, and then hopefully back to the low here. But I would suggest look to manage that trade and not try and be a one-trick pony in terms of placing an entry and then just holding all the way out to the bottom. You can do, of course, but have some management techniques to help manage that trade as well. But I think this still looks like a nice area as well. Same thing for NAS 100. Or was it S&P? S&P is the one. S&P just about broke structure as well. If we go to the 4-hour chart, we just about took up the low here. So again, looking at more downside, we have a lovely rejection at this consolidation, big drop there. Scale to the hourly chart, I did talk about the double top here as well. Similar setup to US 30. This one didn't quite give us the double top, just missed it. So again, we might push in now or have a slightly deeper push and then get a nice sell from that area. But that is really what I'm looking for, the next low high. And again, push back into the lows there. And maybe if we're lucky, back to the lows there too. But still looking at more shorts for indices. That's really where I'm at. We had a really big drop from the interest rates, and I'm kind of looking at this being the continuation of that. Yeah, I'm looking at that being the continuation of that, at least back to the lows. And then probably after that, we probably become a lot more corrective. Then maybe turn around soon. But yeah, that's really where I'm at with S&P and NAS in terms of not NAS, sorry, US 30. In terms of NAS, I'm not as confident with the sales of this one because we haven't actually broken through any structure yet. The market is still bullish. This was our swing low, which gave us a lovely swing high up there. So this is bullish structure for me. So I wouldn't really be looking at sales in these conditions. I think this is still a nice place for a buy. Should the market come back and retest the low here, I still think this is a great place to look for some entries and catch a nice bounce to the upside. And maybe we do swing back to the high. The initial retracement was pretty aggressive, but we slowed down now. Looks like we're forming a bit of a double bottom here. I think that's still a nice place for a buy. So unless NAS was to plummet and take up structure here as well, then we can look for that bigger move, but it just hasn't happened yet. Market structure is my guiding compass in the markets. I follow that wherever I go. So if we're going to break structure, then I'll look for reverse opportunities, but if structure remains, I still expect trend to continue. In some conditions, maybe I do take counter trend trades before structure breaks, but now's not the time, especially not in a market like the NAS, which does just trend to the upside. FX can go counter trend and be a bit more successful. But NAS, yeah, I would be looking at more upside. This zone here, 2,800 looks good, and I'll expect a bounce. Maybe not all the way to the highs, but at least the reaction I'll expect for NAS 100. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with major indices. How is the DAX looking? Yeah, still looking good. Nice bounce not long ago. Could still be a double bottom at play, so I'll keep an eye out for that. Come back, retest the zone, and then fly. That could be a nice trade, but really nice zone. Lines up well with the 50, testing a big level. And yeah, the overall market conditions are still very bullish as well. So yeah, the DAX still got more juice to the upside too. And I do think we can push through. And then at the first position of the year is natural gas. Okay, interesting. A buy after pullback. Okay, we'll go and take a look at that. Then I'll start going through some of the other crosses. I'll see a couple crosses I'm actually looking at now. Pound Aussie, Pound NZD. I do like them. A bit aggressive in terms of the buys because market's a bit overextended, but it does fit what I'm looking at. So I'll go through that in a moment. But I'll go through natural gas for you. I do have it saved down here. Yes, I do. So natural gas. Ooh, wow, that was a weird gap. Market just gapped down and gapped right back up like it never just happened. Interesting stuff there. Yeah, it's a huge gap. It's like a V-shaped gap. Never really seen those before. Strong gap to the downside, brief consolidation, strong gap back up. But yeah, I think buys look good actually, to be honest, because it is kind of a V-shaped pattern, really, and this would be your correction on the V-shape for some more upside. Um, it would, I mean, you still expect gaps to fill, and we haven't filled the gap yet. And I mean, I don't trade natural gas often, so I don't know how well gaps do fill here. And by briefly looking at it, which isn't a good way to judge things, it does look like gaps do fill more often than not. Um, I can see this gap hasn't filled here though. It did come back to test the low, but hasn't completely filled. But yeah, gaps do tend to fill more often than not. So that would give me a bit of heebie-jeebies. I would probably rather buy off this area, knowing that the gap is filled and we could turn around. But yeah, buys do look good. It's a nice area. Looking for the higher low. Pretty aggressive retracement. So I would say if I drop to the hourly chart, as we start to approach this area, I'll start to maybe look to lock in some gains and maybe take some profits. I'm not too sure where your target is. 3.4810, 3.4810. Okay, so you're looking for a bit more downside before you buy? Okay, so you're looking for a pullback to that area before you buy. Okay, okay. So that kind of lines up where I'm talking about there as well. So yeah, if we do get that pullback, probably keep an eye out for this area here first of all. But then that area looks like a nice base for some partials as well. But yeah, I would be biased. The trend's still very much up. Okay, take care, more. Have a good one, my man. Thank you for tuning in as always. All right, no problem. Take care, my man. Happy New Year as well. We'll see you tomorrow. Appreciate it, man. But yeah, so that's kind of what I'll be looking at for natural gas. 3.4345, that kind of area for some buys. But it's looking very bullish at the moment right now. That is a weird gap in the market. It's like a gap the gap. But yeah, not a market I trade, but definitely a market that's still bullish. So yeah, buys still very much your best bet for now. Okay, so I'll go through some of the crosses. So as I mentioned, pound Aussie, pound NZD, currently very bullish, and I still like them. Pound is pretty weak right now, as we just mentioned, so I'm going to be a bit careful. But they're both coming to some nice areas for some longs. You can see the market has been pretty consistent with these higher lows, and the plan is to try and find the next one. And at the moment, if we do see a solid rejection at this low here, maybe take it out a little bit because there's a lot of momentum in the market right now. So I like to see some wicks as that momentum slows down. And that could be a nice buy, take it back up again, back into highs and maybe further. Really healthy pullback on the fib from the low to the high. This is a healthy zone to take a trade from. Of course, if you do see a solid break through that, and yeah, I'll definitely start to back away from that then. But the idea is that I'm looking at pullback and continuation. We've taken out some major highs, we're still seeing signs of continuation. As long as we keep that up, I do think price can still keep pushing. The only thing I don't like about this position is that we're still pretty stretched, and I do think a bigger pullback will happen at some point. It's just difficult to know when that will happen. You could always just say I'm waiting for the bigger pullback, which is fine, but it means you do miss out on some of the more shallow pullbacks as well. This does still fit my criteria, so I'll look for some entries. If it does break through, then I will look for that bigger pullback, which is from this swing low to that swing high. So I'll be looking at kind of these areas to get involved for that bigger pullback. But again, whether or not that happens is difficult to say. But yeah, we'll see what happens at that area. Still looking for buys. If we do break through, then I'll wait for the bigger pullback. But I'm looking for things to turn around at that area. And pound NZD, pretty much the same thing as well. Although I'm looking for this one to give me a bigger rejection because I want to see at least the 50 tagged, which is still a little bit below. So I want to see price tag that 50 as well, and then turn around for the buy. And again, same reasons. Still looking for the higher low. And again, the only thing I don't like about the position is that the market is still pretty stretched. So I do think a bigger pullback will happen at some point, but the trend is still very much alive. Again, would be looking from a push of this swing low to the swing high. So the bigger pullback I'll be looking for would be a push, into this kind of area here, which again could take a while. So yeah, that is kind of really where I'm at with pound Aussie, pound NZD. Still very bullish markets, coming into some nice levels of support. If we can reject it, I do like to take this one back to the highs and hopefully take these guys further as well. Still very confident bullish trend. Okay, yeah, I would be looking at something similar there, Ninad. Again, don't trade natural gas, but it would be nice to see that gap fill and then try and catch the bounce afterwards. But the trend still looks very, very bullish to me. So yeah, I'll be more focused on the buys. In terms of Euro NZD and Euro Aussie, I'm not a big fan of these guys. Can't really get a good read on them. Looks like Euro NZD is kind of stuck between breaking resistance and not breaking resistance. We did kind of look like price was breaking above it, but now it looks like it's breaking back below. So if it is going to reject it, there could be some nice sells to be had. If it does break through, then equally there could be some nice buys in the opposite direction back to go and fill that wick. So I need a bit more information. If we do see a solid candle closure today below, then yeah, that is definitely price rejecting and sales look good. But until that happens, I'm still kind of on the fence 50-50. Yeah, so waiting for a bit more information before I do say what my bias is, what the next move I'm expecting. Euro, Aussie dollar, on the other hand, though, had a really significant break of resistance anyway, so I'm pretty bullish on this one. I'm looking for a push back to the highs over here at 1.7. Really nice break of resistance there. Of course, this is now going to be turned support. The price can come back into this area, hold support very well. I do think this is a nice place to look to long, back to the high there, and possibly back to 1.7 there as well. But yeah, I'm pretty bullish in Euro Aussie. Not a big fan of this one because not really seeing a healthy breakout or a healthy trend like we're seeing with pound Aussie or pound NZD. So that's why I'm more focused on those particular currency pairs, even though they kind of all move in the same direction. But not a big fan of Euro Aussie, not a big fan of Euro NZD. So yeah, I'm not really spending too much time on those ones. But again, things change quickly. Maybe we see some nice candlesticks before the end of the week, and maybe they could find themselves on my watch list next week. But at the moment, nothing really there. In terms of the CAD pairs, we spoke briefly about pound CAD. Looks like this one is getting ready for a move to the downside. Yep, I mean, pound's pretty weak. I'm not too sure this has much to do with CAD, but I think CAD is generally on the strong side, or it has been for the past maybe couple of weeks. But it looks like pound is taking some control here. So as I said, if we do see a break of structure here, which looks like we're leaning towards that, could be some really nice shorts looking to find the next lower high. So of course you've got one over there, second there, this being a third, of course catching a nice drop there to the downside. Looks good. In terms of New Zealand CAD, I like this one. I think we just taken out some more lows this morning. Have we done that? Yes, we have. We took out this low. We took out this low here as well. These are some daily big swing lows. So to me, it looks like price is just slowly working its way back towards major support, which is back down at that area there at 0.795. So the plan is very simple. Looking for the next pullback, lower high, and short it right back down. You can see the market's been pretty consistent with these lower highs. One over there, second, third. Let's try and catch that fourth wherever it does form. And of course, Bob's your uncle. You got a nice swing trade there, which of course is not guaranteed to play out, but probabilities are in your favor. Bullish structure is holding. If this was going to turn around, you wouldn't expect it to be taking out these lows, especially not both of them. This was our previous higher low, which gave us the higher high. in terms of the laws of market structure, we shouldn't be breaking through the prior low if the market's still going to trend higher. Of course, that's not 100% true, but 70-75% of the time, if price does take out the higher low, it doesn't tend to continue higher. And if you take out the previous one as well, that's a really strong sign that we're not going to trend higher most likely, and we're probably going to keep pushing lower. So if we do have a move to the upside, it's probably just to form a lower high, and hence why we're looking for some selling opportunities. We've got a nice area here. Brief support, brief consolidation before strong drop to the downside. Haven't come back for the retest. That will be a great place for a lower high to form. Probably got some nice fib confidence in that area, 0.5, 0.618. So that looks like a really nice place for a short. Entries, stop loss above the high. Of course, at least the push back down to the prior low, but the real move is back down to that daily level of support at 0.795. So that's the swing I'm looking for there on New Zealand CAD. Aussie CAD, something similar, but not as good of an opportunity. I noted that New Zealand CAD took out some key lows. Aussie CAD hasn't really done that yet. This is still the low on the daily chart, which give us this high here. We haven't taken that out. So the possibility of a move like this is still higher there with Aussie CAD. So it means it's less attractive of a sell. I mean, I'm not expecting that move to play out, to be honest, because this overall trend is so corrective. So I do think we are likely going to break to the downside here. But because it has a broken structure, it's not as good of an opportunity as New Zealand CAD. But because they are so correlated, they're probably going to do the same thing. So if New Zealand CAD is going to fall off a cliff, Aussie CAD most likely will do that as well. And what I would say about Aussie CAD is that we do have a very consistent bearish trend here. If you look at it in isolation, the market's just been very, very consistent with these lower highs. So again, if we're to push up again, I do think there's a good chance of another lower high forming as the trend does continue. And it could be a really nice move to the downside, but you can see how consistent we've been coming back into that consolidation. I still think this is a nice trade. It's just I'd rather put my eggs into the New Zealand CAD basket rather than Aussie CAD there. But both of them are expecting more downside. And of course, you got your lovely Euro CAD, which I'm not a big fan of anymore. I did speak about some buys at this area here. Have seen a brief bounce, but nothing really has amounted of that. It looks like momentum is fading as well. So if we do go and break through these lows here as well, that would give us a double top pattern and price breaking through the neckline. That would change my bias altogether, and I'll be looking at something like this for New Zealand CAD, Euro CAD, sorry, to trend back down. And you got the swing lows there to target, but of course you got numerous lows to look at before that. But yeah, if we do break through this low here, then that would change my bias. And as I said, looking at lower highs to form, that could be a really nice trade to take it back down again, at least back to 1.473, 475, maybe back to the swing low there, 1.455 there as well. So yeah, it looks like Euro CAD, New Zealand CAD, Aussie CAD, Pound CAD, CAD pairs in general are looking to change direction and head down. USD CAD I'll still be bullish on because I think USD is the main driving force there anyway, and we've seen such a big breakout. And actually, I would want to see some downside anyway because dollar CAD does need some retracement, but I would still be looking to buy that one. But these other CAD pairs look like they could be heading down for some time now. Andre, pound USD, okay. Pound USD last time we looked very, very bearish. Looking very bearish, breaking through support. So yeah, I would say pound USD next level of interest does lie at 1.235. That'll be the next place I'm expecting pound USD to get to. I've spoken about shorts with pound USD that I'm expecting support to break. We've been consistent with the lower highs here. Looks like this momentum and that trend is still intact. But the main reason why I've been very bearish on pound is because of USD. USD is the driving force of these major markets. So if you can find the direction for USD, 8 times out of 10, you can find the direction for pound, find the direction for euro, dollar CAD, Aussie dollar, because USD is the governing force here. So if USD is going to be strong, chances are pound USD is going to fall too. And like we've talked about, it looks like USD is playing ball right now. It's looking very bullish, and I do think that will sustain. So pound USD, I'm expecting a move in the opposite direction, and I'm looking for this trend to continue. And of course, we're seeing signs of that with the break of the support right now. So the next best opportunity for pound would be a pullback to form the next lower high like this. As I've mentioned, we've been very consistent with them. And now that we've broken through support, that kind of barrier is now out our way. And now we can actually use that to our advantage as resistance. And then the next level we can maybe expect some buys to step back into would, of course, be the low there. So yeah, pound USD pretty bearish. I'm not really seeing support with pound USD right now. I would say it's cleared support, if anything. And that same support is now resistance. I mean, I'll still wait for the 4-hour candle to close, which is still in about 2 hours and 12 minutes time. And who knows, maybe it does pull back. But if it closes anything how it's doing right now, I would say that's a bearish breakout. And the shorts are looking very good. And I think the USD, the DXY candle is about to close right now. The next 12 minutes. So yeah, if it closes like it's doing right now, it's not the biggest breakout you see in the world, but it's a convincing break. And if we can see some follow through in the next couple 4-hour candles, yeah, I would say the next best opportunity would be the breaking test of the high, and I'll be expecting a lot more upside for USD, at least back to 112. Of course, not in one go, but longer term, that's what I'm looking for. But yeah, it looks like USD strength is here to stay. So exciting times, which is interesting because USD strength will mean majors keep falling. Maybe dollar yen keeps pushing up. Dollar CHF keeps pushing up. Dollar CAD too. Maybe the indices might struggle a little bit in terms of upsides with dollar being strong. Maybe gold and silver might struggle as well with dollar being strong, which again is a bit of a asterisk there because despite USD being strong, if the fundamentals are pointing gold and gold to be strong as well, it doesn't really matter what USD is doing because if people are heavily buying gold, it will be stronger than USD anyway, as we've seen in so many occasions recently. But yeah, I do have a very strong bullish bias with USD at the moment. So if I do get involved with a USD pair, it will be in favor of buys of dollar. So shorts on euro, shorts on pound could look really, really good. But my favorite dollar pair at the moment is definitely dollar CAD. Might not see the pullback I'm after, but it's been such a healthy breakout. We've got a big level just above us. So I really like the buys. But yeah, the two opportunities that look good, if we do see the bigger pullback, would be this area here. 1.416, sorry, or the breaking retest of the high here, just like what USD is doing right now. Breaking the high could pull back, retest, continue. If you do have a bigger pullback, then that would be the area of interest for the buys. But either which way, only interested in longs. I do see price keep pushing. So yeah, in terms of my watch list for the, well, I was going to say watch list for the week, but it's Thursday, isn't it? So watch list probably for the rest of this week and next week. But of course, maybe things change a little bit. So make sure you do catch my weekly analysis on the weekend, which will give you, what I'm expecting with certain pairs. But in terms of what I'm looking at now, dollar CAD longs firmly on there. Hopefully you can see some nice opportunities there. Dollar yen longs still what I'm looking at. Buys. Again, this is still my number one opportunity. It looks very identical to dollar yen right now. Pull back to 154 would be great. If we don't see that, then I may contemplate a breaking retest of the high, but probably not. This doesn't really fit my risk reward in the time frames I'm entering. If I'm entering the 4-hour time frame, my risk reward wouldn't be particularly great. So it's more of like an hourly and below opportunity. What would be nice would be this, but we'll see if that happens. But both of them on the watch list. Keep an eye on both opportunities. In terms of the yen pairs, I do like the sells. So like pound yen, CAD yen, euro yen, I'm still keeping an eye on the shorts with these ones. But at these heights here, So looking for the double top for the short. So this is still what I'm keeping an eye on, which again could be for more for next week. I doubt we'll get there this week. So euro yen, keeping an eye on that as well. I'm liking the shorts at the high, look really, really good. In the meantime, like I said, buys look good. And CAD yen looks equally as good as well. I like the shorts at the high there for the big sells. So that's something I'm keeping a very close eye on. Yeah, in terms of the crosses, I like pound Aussie and pound NZD. These guys are coming thick and fast into my levels, so need to see some strong rejection there for me to get involved. But I like the area we're trading in. If we break through, then I'll back away. In terms of pound NZD, very similar opportunity as well. Looking to try and really follow momentum here. Coming back into this area, if you can reject it, that'll be great. Ooh. If you can reject it, that'll be great. That's where I'll find my entries. And again, look and take it back to the high. In terms of CHF pairs, so of course, I'm currently trading Euro CHF at the moment. Looking for a lot more downside with that one, but still a long way to go. Only just entered not long ago. But looking for a push back into the lows here. We'll see how that goes. And hopefully, if I can get that to break even, then I can look to see if I can get involved with New Zealand CHF, which I'm looking at a similar trade. Another CHF pair, looking at more downside, at least back to the lows here. And looking to try and find the next low high in the sequence for a drop back into at least the low here at 0.502. But that is the bigger move I'm looking for, back down to 0.49464. And yeah, that's really where my watch list is at. Don't think I've missed any out. Oh, well, yeah, Aussie New Zealand dollar looks good too. But much bigger pullback for that one. But yeah, if it does happen, I'm all ears, ready to buy that one to the upside as well. Risk reward looks good. Again, just a bit far away, and New Zealand CAD too as well. Almost forgot this one. Yeah, nice sell there too. So I've got about 7 or 8 pairs I'm looking at. Probably about at least 5 of them probably won't set up to next week anyway. Today's already Thursday. We're already about to come into the New York session. So the only one that looks like might set up now is New Zealand CHF. But then again, I'm not looking to trade it because I'm already in Euro CHF. So the only pair that might actually give me what I'm looking for, probably not allowed to trade. But it's the yen pairs, dollar CAD, pound Aussie, pound NZD. Actually, no, they could set up. So keep an eye on that. And Aussie New Zealand dollar and even New Zealand CAD. It's going to take a lot to pull back into my area. So probably just keep an eye. Could just set alerts, of course. The beauty of the trading the 4-hour chart is that, you get a candle close every 4-hour interval. So I'm only checking the charts at 6, 10 p.m., 10 a.m., 2 p.m., 6 p.m., and then 10 p.m. at night. And if there's nothing forming, then there's nothing to do. You go about your day. But yeah, probably not going to get any entries for those guys. But as we've got some big candle closures, the quarterly chart has definitely surprised me the most, especially in some of the majors. Euro USD, I would like it if it was a little bit bigger. I mean, no, in terms of the size is good, but in terms of being a bit bigger, what I mean is clearing the support level here. Because major support, big move to the upside, we kind of close right on that level. So yeah, that's a bit annoying, but because USD hasn't really closed that level and it's broken to the upside, and I'm expecting USD to continue up, that leads me to believe that Euro is going to break through support here. So I think Euro is going to be a big pair I'll look to attack this year, or at least the next few months anyway. But I need it to really continue, break support some more, and I can look for some more pullbacks. Hopefully some bigger pullbacks as well, so I can really hang on to it. Something like this. Ooh, really nice momentum, some bigger pullbacks. Something like this is kind of what I'm looking for. And yeah, we can ride that back down to 0.96, 0.97. But we've seen some really strong candle closures on Aussie, New Zealand dollar, and New Zealand dollar as well. So as you can see, strong close there. Momentum's looking like it's picking up. I do think we can continue falling. And then for New Zealand dollar as well, really strong close there. I do think these wick lows will be taken out too. That range that we've been in for, again, a year and a half, 2 years, has well and truly broken out. So I do think we're going to continue falling. So yeah, even from a top-down perspective, the higher time frames, USD markets look like they're going to keep falling in respect to USD. And then, of course, you got your lovely dollar CAD, which very strong close to the upside. As we can see, first kind of strong quarterly candle closure in this area. Previously, we got a lot of wicks. Now we're getting strong candle closures. Again, a sign that more upside is likely to come. So buying pullbacks in dollar CAD look like a no-brainer. And again, want to stress, not like anything's guaranteed or you won't lose a trade. You know, that could very easily happen, but it's always nice to know that you're in favor of the higher time frames. So if you're looking to hold trades a little bit longer, this is the time to do it. And in terms of dollar CHF, not a fan favorite of mine, but I have to say I like the close we got. Again, if I get rid of this, I like the close we got last quarter. Nice bullish engulfing candle. Looks like this support level is holding. So again, we could be looking for a bit of a move to the upside. If this is kind of like a big fake out of that same area, could even see a trend and maybe back to some areas up there as well. So looking at across the board, USD pairs look like they've got room to the upside. We do have some major resistance to watch out for, which is, there we go, which is this level here. But again, if that breaks, sky's the limit. And that's where we can expect for 2025, presumably. But yeah, at the moment, just kind of staying patient, because the swings I've talked about there could not even set up until end of the month potentially. And the important thing is not to get the fear of missing out. If USD does start trending to the upside aggressively now, not to get too panicky and try and buy things that are not quite there or sell things that are not quite there. There will be opportunities. There always is opportunities. You know, one thing I've learned from trading, there's always another opportunity around the corner. Even if you think you've missed the best opportunity in the world, trust me, there's always going to be a even better opportunity later on. And the funny thing is, you might find an opportunity that might not be as good, but still ticks your boxes. It might even play out better than the one you thought was the best in the world as well. So it's just about staying patient, waiting for your setups to form, and then making you trade them. If you miss it, brush it off. There's always another one around the corner. But at the moment, Euro CHF is the one I'm looking at. A few other markets, Euro CHF is the one I'm trading. A few other markets I'm looking at as well. But that's the only one I'm currently trading. So we'll see how that goes. Keep you guys up to date with it. If I do get into any other positions, of course, you'll find out on the streams, Telegram as well. Make sure you check out, link to that in the description below. But guys, we have reached the end of the stream. If you have found it useful, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. And of course, make sure you check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. Link to that in the description below. Also, the top of the chat. Join the community, chat with other traders, including myself, share ideas. I share ideas there as well. So if you are interested, make sure you go check it out. And of course, you can find out a bit more about Elevating Traders, the firm as well. So make sure you head over if you are interested. But guys, really do appreciate you tuning in. Have a great Thursday. Like I said, Happy New Year. First real trading day of the year. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So don't try and make all your profits for the year in one day. Spread it out. Give yourself the opportunity to manage your risk and grow. And it should be a fun year. Hopefully some momentum as well. USD is looking really interesting. But I'll be live again later today with Trader Nick. Actually, I don't know if he'll be there, but I will be on his channel in about an hour and 45 minutes from now. So if you're interested, I'll be over there live again. If not, I'll be live again tomorrow. So hopefully see you guys there. And guys, have a great week. And I'll see you guys in the next one.